week an hour. We were going 2.5 hours and still could have kept going. But then I also ran into Skip Crilly, who's actually given a talk at the HamSCI workshop in the past. He does SETI and has some very interesting um, results that we were talking about, but wondering how we can back out the ionosphere from it. So that it's right up our bailiwick, I think. Um, and other than that, I continue to work on tracking our CubeSat and setting up a good ground station for it, and working on the presentation for the workshop in a month. So back to net.
Very good. And by the way, I found the right setting. I had not made myself host, and then I had to claim the host. And so we are recording at this point. So next on the list is Greg. I think I already called him Greg, didn't I? Yes. Um, Next on the list is Jay Schwartz, WB8 SBI. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Not a whole heck of a lot new here ham radio wise. I finally got my hotel reservations and registration for the conference. Looking forward to being out there and seeing all my fraternal brothers and sisters in amateur radio. Otherwise, at least the cold weather broke here in southeast Michigan, and it was really interesting because we're pushing 50 degrees, and just 10 days ago we were at zero. So, a 50-degree change in temperature.
Yes.
That's kind of very interesting from a science point of view. And also, it's a testament to the structural integrity of our houses and the power and grid system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, take care. 7-3, everybody. And even though it's warmed up a little bit, still stay warm, stay safe. See y'all. 7-3,
Oh,
everybody. Back to
oh,
net.
okay. Next on the list is Jonathan, KC3EEY. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, everybody. Um, I'm on a new computer, brand new computer, actually. So, is my audio coming through?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, this past week or last week, I was up at Nathaniel's house because I wanted to uh, verify that my VLF active antenna was connected properly. So I brought my meter and I walked across the snowy field, and I checked continuity. I made sure that the earth ground was uh, connected to the ground strap, and it was. It was a low impedance path to the metal mast, which is good. Um, the antenna terminal was a high impedance path to the metal mast, which is also good. So everything checked out. Um, but I'm getting a lot of power line hum, and I'm not sure where that's coming from. I thought that I might not have had the ground connected properly, but everything is actually uh, connected. So I'm currently investigating where that noise is coming from, but I kind of have a feeling that Nathaniel's once radio quiet environment is not so radio quiet anymore, particularly with power line hum. It's actually quite loud uh, and quite disruptive to the data, which is concerning because his site was always a very clean site. So that leads me into the next thing is very soon um, I would like to have some beta testers for the VLF system. So I'm putting that out there now. Um, I know there were a lot of beta testers for the magnetometer, um, and I'm putting that out there that I'm going to need some beta testers. So if anyone is interested, please let me know. Um, uh, uh, the VLF portion of this project, maybe most people don't know about it or don't have an interest in it, but it is very important because uh, it gives you um, another part of the whole picture, particularly with the ionosphere, the Earth ionosphere waveguide, and the magnetosphere, which hams often don't really get too involved in. Uh, but this group does with with the magnetometer. So um, I cannot emphasize enough how important uh, VLF science is, and how we're in a very good position with our uh, VLF citizen science system, both in hardware and software. It's built for citizen science, and anyone could set up these systems um, with little effort. So if anyone is interested in beta testing, you all know where to reach me. Um, that's all I have. Back to the net.
Okay. Next on the list is Michael Howen, AC0G. Go ahead, Michael.
Good evening, everybody. Not much to report from here. I've just had my head in the computer and discovered a broken antenna feed line and some other ditzel things like that that I have to pay attention to. So back to net.
Okay. And then next on the list is Paul Elliott, WB6CXC. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, evening everyone. Let's see here. Well, the one you're really interested in is the new X88 design, and I owe everybody a document describing what my intentions were and design notes for it, and haven't done that yet. So I promise I'll get back on that. I've had a few comments or questions, and I will be responding to those. The last week in this so far has been mostly basically a travel time and getting prepared for that. So, making the my bi-monthly commute between Friday Harbor and Occidental. This last Saturday, I met with Rob at KPH, and we were able to install, well, a couple things, but the interesting one is the time sync injector for the 888s there. And by all accounts, it's working quite well. So um, hopefully we can get some results from one more location set up for time stamping time of arrival on various signals. I've also started transmitting here from Occidental, about 20 miles away from KPH, a pulse per second, by BPSK signal with every 10 minutes, there'll be a CW identifier. And the identifier includes my website, so if anybody wants to complain, they know where to send the nasty letter. Um, and anyway, I'm hope somebody can, well, Scott in particular can receive that. Um, we need to talk about frequencies. It's on 10 meters now, and I tried listening to it, and it was coming through, but not super strong. If that's an issue, I can easily change the frequency. So and I've been working on airplane and hotel reservations and all that for the upcoming um, HamSCI thing, and also for Dayton Hamvention, and also some travel times. So that's a lot of stuff. So anyway, back to net.
Okay, sorry about the coffee. Next on the list is Phil, KA9Q. Go, Phil.
Hey guys, not too much to report this week. I've been working mostly on the spectrum analyzer feature in KNIQ radio. If I don't stop soon, I'm going to have this thing turned into a lab grade instrument. Working mostly on data compression because it does generate a lot of data. And other, tweaking other things, keeping the FT8 and FT4 spotters going on KFS and KPH and VY0 ERC and DP0 GVN. And recently just started playing finally with FreeDV. I'm piping its output into the demodulator, and I recommend starting to play with that. I mean, it's really an amazing little voice codec that he's come up with here, and I think it's really quite an accomplishment. Check it out. Anyway, that's about it.
Okay, next on the list is Scott in 5 TNL. Go ahead.
Hey everyone. This week I got back to radio stuff. So I spliced and restored my wire antenna, renewed my ticket, filed my taxes, started testing Paul's time sync at KPH, and ran into what appears to be multicast bugs or confusion in my code. Oh, and I also learned that Ubuntu and the Kiwis are out to get me. So that's it for me.
Oh, that's right. They're all out to get you. Next on the list is Tom in 5EG. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, good evening, Dave and the group. Got started on the third version of the quad receiver design. So maybe the third time will be the charm here. Found an A to D that appears to be in stock and have unarchived some FPGA code. So just getting started on schematic and board layout for that. Back to the group.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, one of these has got to work for sure.
Yes. I think I missed, is it Bob, the pad 2? iPad 2?
Yeah, I guess I got to change my call or something.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure when it is yet. Had a busy, fun week in Orlando, and including the Hamfest, of course, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with a few other Bill and Gary and Ed. And I was pleased with the whole thing. We had some interesting people stop by, and we got some interesting comments and things. And I think both Gary and Bill did a great job of promoting HamSCI in their presentation. So that's about it. I'm just recovering from a week in a nice warm climate.
Oh,
Back to net.
okay. I think we've called on everybody. Anybody? Did I miss anybody?
I'm
So,
here. I'm here.
Rob.
Yeah,
Yes. Well, I usually put you at the end of the list, but
well,
sorry.
that's where I deserve to be.
Yes.
Uh,
So go ahead, Rob.
I think Paul has covered what we, our major activities. I can do a brief show and tell. We went out to KPH on Saturday, and you can see there's Paul. This man and his daughter Grace has expressed a lot of interest. She posted up to the forum last week an interest in HamSCI, and I encouraged her to come out to KPH, which she did. She's a high school junior who's in San Jose. Her father is a license, but doesn't seem to be very active. But she's extremely interested in what we're doing. So the next stage is I'm going to lend her some equipment, like a Kiwi or something. So she knows almost nothing, but she's extremely motivated. So I think that's that's more
Is that her
important.
dad next door in the foreground?
Yeah, that's her dad. Dad to the
Is he a
left.
ham too?
He has a call sign, but he said he mostly got it for emergency communications, which he hasn't really used, and I think it's expired. And I think hopefully, we're encouraging him. Maybe through his daughter, we can encourage him his
Well,
interest.
at least she's got a ham in the family. That's what I was
Yeah,
after. Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
apparently his her mother also has a license that is, I
Oh,
guess. So, anyway, this is the room at taken at KPH, the one of the rooms. The is the radio station, historic radio station. So most of this equipment is antique. This is from the 90s here, dot matrix printers and so on. This is the SDR rack, the back of it at a KPH. So you can see there's two ARCs triple eights and four Kiwis. And hiding down at the bottom is a couple of B-Link, B-Link associated with each of the ARCs triple eights. So we added this blue box is Paul's time sync injector, which he described earlier. Um, it introduces the time sync signal. It's 90, whatever, 90 megahertz signal into both of the ARCs triple eights. But Phil, we try to give you, undisturbed access to the triple eight number two, KPH2, and while we experiment on KPH1, the other one. So it's a tangle of wires. Uh, I wish I had more time. Takes me 2.5 hours to drive each way to drive up there, and then we're lucky we can only go on Saturday, and we get 3 or 4 hours to work on it. So it's a lot of trouble going up there, and but it's a very rewarding site, as I think you guys know. Anyway, that was a little show and tell about what I've been up to, and I'll stop sharing if I can find the window again. Well, here it is. I could stop sharing. Anyway, that was, and I'm deep into rebuilding the Whisper Demon server system, which isn't directly used by any of the HamSCI reporting, although perhaps with the addition of the time sync signals, we may need a new database or a new place to store WAV files that include this time resolution stuff. Anyway, that's another subject for perhaps later. I'll go back to
Okay.
Nick.
So, by my calculation, we've called on everybody. So, at this point, we'd be open for general discussion.
I see Clint has logged in here, so why don't we give him a chance to speak up if he likes.
Clint, you want to comment?
Okay, looks like my camera hasn't readjusted yet. Let's see, I've been doing radio-related things recently. It turns out that through a variety of circumstances, I've kind of become involved with the local or regional power company. What turns out is that the guy that did all the RFI hunting for the power company and all that sort of retired, and there's no one to take their place. And so there's a few of the hams here in Utah that we'd worked with the power company before, and now they're asking us in a semi-official capacity to go and find their power quality and noise issues for them, which is a double-edged sword, as you can imagine. But last Friday, went to a town about 3 hours south of here, and the main problem turned out to be a noisy switching supply, but the other one was a power pole that was probably in the next 1 or 2 days would have actually broken in half and dropped high voltage on the distribution lines in a business area. So, and one of the ways we found that was with, besides HF to get us, oh, Brett's here. There it is. I didn't see Brett here. That is one of the problems that we had. So
looks like a little bit of charcoal there.
Right. So you get within a couple blocks of it on HF. You get within a few hundred feet of it on VHF, 2 meter AM specifically. Then with ultrasonic, you can identify the hardware if it isn't as bleeding obvious as that photo indicates. And just now, a friend of mine who was one of the MFJ dishes, we replaced the narrowband ceramic microphone with a wideband MEMS microphone, and also made the tuning control for it external so that it'll pick up a wider variety of frequencies, and it can be used for finding hidden switching supplies too. I mean, if I turn on my ultrasonic converter here in the basement, I can just hear just this roar of ultrasonic switchers just from every direction. And if you just move it a little bit, you can hear Doppler shift, which between the Doppler unidirectional and microphone and a bit of moving it around, you can kind of infer the vector toward the device. If you move it, the pitch goes up, then that sort of thing. Anyway,
Clint, is the ultrasonics due to the transformer windings vibrating or what?
I don't know what else it would be.
Okay,
But
probably
anyway,
that.
For switching supplies?
right. Yeah, I mean,
That'd be the magnetostriction in the
right.
transformer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and also the filter inductors and everything else in there.
Right.
You,
And
you can also hear ceramic capacitors.
I was just going to say that. Capacitors can often do piezo stuff, but anyway, the I guess that is peripheral to this, in that there are probably a number of sites that probably could do with a bit of remediation as far as RF goes. And by the way, the RFI noise source that was driving the one guy worst craziest was those all year Christmas lights. Those are generally made with worst quality power supplies, and they're strung like antennas around the eaves of the house. So when things aren't clean, well, guess what? Anyway, that's uh, that's that's what I did this last week.
Clint, I have a question. Do you have a source for the ultrasonic um, dishes?
Um, well, yes and no.
There, a lot of sources have disappeared, and some are very expensive. And we're looking for a source for
So
our RFI group.
so so there's some smaller ones about a foot across. You can get them all day long on Amazon.
Right.
and and I have one of those. In fact, I've ordered, just so that I can write it up. I've ordered one of these here. Brett has one. You can't see it, but it's a Bellman bat detector. I just got it today, and
Okay.
a Spark Fun analog, mind you, analog MEMS microphone, and I'm going to bang those together with the cheapo dish you can get on Amazon and see what I can come up with. I actually my personal dish is and also Brett got one recently after a while of searching, a Dan Gibson EPM parabolic dish that you can sometimes find on Evil Day. And then but if you're made out of money, you can get the wildlife listening dishes. But
Right.
but
That's what I've been seeing.
friend that was here though, he had the MFJ one, and clearly MFJ made the parabola themselves. And if you've ever seen any of the MFJ auto tuners that go outside, they're in a vacuum formed black plastic case. They use that same material to make this dish,
Hmm.
and it's reasonably good. It's 18 inches diameter. So if you know anyone with vacuum forming capability, and you happen to have a exemplar of a parabola, you have two of the three things you need to make as many as you like. And vacuum, I mean, you've got, everybody knows somebody or knows somebody who does vacuum forming. I mean, you can buy a used vacuum former on eBay for several $100s if you have somewhere to put it.
Right.
So
There are actually some dishes, I think, available. You can buy just the dish, plastic dish.
I looked
But
I look for them, but 18 inches is about the magic spot. It's four
Ah,
times the gain of the about four times the gain of the 1 footers, and it's not so big that it's horribly awkward. But there's not a lot in between. There's not a lot in between, and also when you get down into the when you get into ultrasonic, you're talking about millimeter wave, literally.
yeah, right, right.
And the formulas work perfectly for RF and acoustic waves. But the
I
microphone,
have ordered an additional MEMS microphone, Clint, so I will have stereo feed in my dish once I get it built. So I'll have stereo ultrasonic, which will be an interesting experience.
right?
I've also conscripted a friend who drafts for the local countertop company to build the dimensions of said feed. So he's a much better draftsman when it comes to working in SolidWorks than I am.
Okay, yeah. That would be just icing on the cake. But the MEMS analog MEMS microphones, if you look around, those are fairly cheap. Not as cheap as they used to be, unfortunately, but under $3 will get you a microphone that has flat within plus or minus, 6-8 dB from 100 hertz to 100 kilohertz, and reasonable sensitivity. And the old ones use the little narrowband ceramic elements, which are becoming unobtainium. Those used to be used for the ultrasonic motion detectors. And that's what we replaced today. In fact, this is the one that I don't have lights on here. My camera's, but this is just ultrasonic, um, passive ultrasonic detector. But they're only like a kilohertz or two wide. There we go. I think that helped. But but as I was pointing, when we were listening to the power pole in Cedar City, I noticed that while it was making a racket at around 40 kilohertz, it made a whole lot more racket around 35, 33 kilohertz. So having something tunable for your direct conversion receiver is very advantageous. Anyway, but if you want to have an HF station or having noise on your VLF, then this stuff might be important at some point. Anyway, I'll send it back to you, Dave.
Okay. So
Well,
go ahead, Paul.
okay, thank you. I got a question for Tom and for David. Pardon me. Well, David McCaw. But Tom, you mentioned finding an ADC you could actually get. Do you have a part number for that?
Yes, I do. It's a dual part. It's a TI. Hang on, let me see if I can find the data sheet here. Components, TI. It is a ADS 62P45.
ADS 62P45.
Right. And
Okay.
I think it was DigiKey had 0, but Mauser had like 200.
Okay.
What are the
Now,
specs on that 16-bit?
It's a 14-bit.
Yeah.
It is a 125 meg sample rate, and it has a very similar, is similar to one of the older analog device dual channel units that we used on Tangerine, but seems to be more available and lower price.
Is anyone else concerned that Rochester has it?
Wait, I don't know. What's a Rochester?
Rochester is obsolete equipment.
Absolutely.
Okay. No, I haven't checked that. I was just looking at distributors so I can get it built.
Yeah, I just typed it into Octopart and Rochester's got nearly 10,000 and that's good and bad.
Okay. Yeah, it's surprisingly difficult to find available ADCs now.
Interesting.
hmm.
Not
Uh,
that they're not being used for AI.
True.
Yeah, the
Well,
ones that
not that
are
we
slower
know.
sample rates are easier to find, but when you get up to
Yeah.
125 megasamples, they get tough to find.
Mm.
And David, you'd mentioned talking with some SETI people about something. What was that
Yeah.
again?
Oh, Skip's oh shoot, what's his um Skip Crilly, K7 ETI, which stands for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. He's local here in New Hampshire. But he used to design for Hewlett Packard. And he's gotten very active in doing SETI. He has his own telescopes. He's actually also connected with Green Bank.
Okay.
Has purview over one of the telescopes down at Green Bank.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention if don't know if it helps or not, but if you, I used to have a pretty good contacts at the SETI Institute, um,
Yeah,
and
he's
all.
connected with that.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I
I work
But
with
was
him
he's got
regularly.
a series of papers. He's got 9 papers online and working on a 10th. And it's
okay.
very interesting stuff that he's imaging. And then, we were talking about how you back out he's got, adjacent frequencies, but he can't get phase information because of the dispersion in the ionosphere, presumably.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I was on the board of directors for a while, and
Uh-huh. Well, I'm surprised you don't know his name right off, but
well, it's been a while.
yeah,
It's and anyway, and I was mainly just hanging out with the people in Palo Alto area.
right.
So
Yeah, I actually got to see meet Paul Horowitz and Philip Morrison
okay,
way
yeah,
back when they start inaugurated one of the big receivers at Harvard, Mass.
okay. No, I was hanging out with Frank Drake
Right.
and those people. Got to spend some time up at the Hat Creek facility and
Hmm.
met Paul Allen up there. That was neat. But
Well,
anyway, okay, just wondering if there's something I could do to help. But sounds like you and your friends have it all covered.
mhm. Yeah, well, I'm hoping that we're sort of looking to, I'm a member of Springfield Telescope Makers. We do stellophane. And I'm sort of tasked with developing a radio telescope side to it. So I'm going to invite some people up. That our convention, for those who might have interest, it's mid-August this year
Hmm.
here in Springfield, Vermont. We're like the mecca for amateur telescope making.
Yeah, no, it's cool
Good.
stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I'd hang out with Frank Drake and Joel Charter and
That's
those
cool. Yeah,
folks at the Institute.
my dad knew Frank Drake. He was contemporary of one of his brothers in Cleveland
Yeah,
High
it's a
School.
pretty amazing guy. Anyway, okay, I guess that those are my questions and comments. So back to anyone else?
Yeah, we're open session, so you just jump in there.
Somebody mentioned the ATA. I work with those guys. They have a Zoom every week in which I participate as an advisor. Um, I'm just putting an SDR in up there right now, copy of KNIQ radio with one of the Hydra SDRs for VHF and UHF, just as for local site surveys and monitoring for QRM and so forth. They are now installing I believe, an HF radio telescope. They don't seem to know much about it. They're just hosting the site, but it's Project Jove. It's an HF um, radiometer, I think. And it occurs to me that is a very nice, quiet site. That might not be a bad one to add to our list of sites. I mean, they don't have a TCI 530 or anything like that, but they do have a pretty quiet rural location. If anybody's interested in helping there, I've already
Yeah,
suggested the idea to them. They
it
seem
is a
somewhat
good
willing to help.
location. It's a
What's
good
that?
location. Just saying,
Yeah,
yeah, it is a good location. About the time I've left the institute, they were starting to work on, getting a fiber optic connection down into the big city from there. I
yeah.
don't know what
They have a good internet connection now
Okay, good.
from
Yeah,
on that
I was
creek.
looking at the quotes, the bids from the local telecom company, and wait a minute, I recognize this gear, and half of it was stuff that I designed. It turned out, wait a minute, it's been 10 or 15 years, and this is still what you're using. Come on, got to be something better. But apparently, we did a good job when we designed it. So anyway, It's pretty amazing stuff. I don't care if they find if they ever hear from any aliens. I mean, it'd be cool if they did, but just the hunt is
They're,
what's
they're spending
important.
probably half their time on SETI and half on conventional radio astronomy, particularly studying fast radio bursters.
Mm.
Yeah, and they're also using it for basically reverse radar type stuff, or whatever you call it, whatever they would call it, looking at interference from satellites and how
Well, they
they,
have to. I mean, SETI is the QRM problem.
yeah, but they can use it to basically detect reflections from like space debris and stuff like that, reflections from like geosynchronous satellites. You'll end up with multipaths because of the intervening stuff that's in orbit, and they can detect that. So it's I don't know, just amazing
Yeah.
technology. The
Just a
well,
pitch for them. I mean, I think they could use some more ham expertise. I mean, they've got very qualified people, radio astronomers, and the site manager is really sharp. A German guy, Alex Pollock, spent a year in Antarctica, by the way, but he's not a ham. I've been trying to get him to become one. But I've noticed that the kinds of things they have one other ham advisor, one of my former colleagues from Qualcomm. But I got into this because my former boss, Franklin Antonio N6NKF, was a major contributor, both financially and advice. But he passed away 4 years ago, and he'd been trying to get me involved. So I finally said, okay, I guess it's time to get involved. But I think they could use more ham expertise.
it's a good group.
Yeah, it's a very good group.
Yeah, that was my main contribution was financial, but I would put my 2 cents worth in on the technology every now and then.
Franklin gave the City Institute $200 million in his will, so they're
Okay, he topped
they're in
me
good
then.
they're in good
Okay,
shape right now.
good.
Yeah. They're also doing a certain amount of deep space stuff. Daniel Estevez, a guy in Spain, does a lot of radio work. Has been using their antennas, among others, to reverse engineer various space probes. I got to ask him if he's going to be listening to Artemis too. I don't know. I haven't heard yet.
Are they still is Berkeley still deeply involved? When I left there was some.
Yeah, the
Okay,
SETI Institute's got several people at Berkeley.
okay, but financially and at the ATA.
I don't know about the financial connection, but the
Okay.
SETI folks are headquartered there.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Rob, I at some point I'd like to talk with you about um, kind of the database implications for this time sync stuff that we're doing. I want to
I
be able.
mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that in Christine's WWB modulation call last week, is that we need to come up with a database and most importantly, a structure of how we're going to log data
Yeah,
now that we have another dimension uh, of to the data that we're capturing. I mean, the databases we have are structured toward time and frequency, and now we have the time of the recording and the frequency of the signal. But now we also have to add another dimension, which is the time of arrival signal of the
and
signal.
you're going to need to know time of transmission um, from any given transmitter, unless that's standardized.
I think we have to. I think we would want to assume that everybody is synced up to tick time 0 nanosecond. But in any case, I think Gwen suggested that that at the very least there needs to be a kind of an array of bins of time bins, just as there we would want to have an array of frequency bins, because what he is seeing, and you'll see in his paper he's going to present, is that he is able to detect multiple multipath paths.
Yeah.
And he derives that insight from both the frequency of the path, the Doppler shift introduced by it, and the time of arrival. And having that information, both dimensions recorded, would greatly deepen the value of the data that we're recording and detecting and recording.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have multipath, different time arrivals of the same signal, that each of those is an important data point. So need to be able to figure out
Yeah,
how to do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah. So
I'd like to have at least a clue or a proposal or just evidence that work's being done on this that I can sort of put into my presentation. Doesn't, it's it's too soon for us to be able to present this as a fait accompli, finished thing, but work in progress and sort of what our ideas are as how to generate and record this information, and then how people like Gwyn can actually use it once we've got it.
yeah, and
That's
this
kind of what I'm hoping to present.
and to that respect, I think the people who would be most meaningful would be Gwen and Scott. I think that they
Yeah.
could give you the best insight into uh, what information could be gleaned and should be recorded. But in Glenn's case, in terms of time of arrival, he thought 100 nanosecond bins in an array would be uh, the best, at least, because he showed a preliminary version of his presentation, and he's able to clearly differentiate transmission paths, that differ in time of flight by the order of several hundred nanoseconds from the systems that you guys already have running, the one at Clint's and well, we've just
WWV.
started with
Yeah.
it. So WWV to Clint's, he's able to show let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7 different transmission paths simultaneously.
So
Okay.
this data,
Okay.
data structure is going to become quite important for this, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's, not my
Yeah.
department,
No, and it hasn't
fortunately.
really been mine, but it's a good time for me because with Brett's help, I'm in the process of regenerating our new database hardware and re-implementing the database, the ClickHouse database that we're restoring, the legacy information. But I think
Rob, it appears the new storage array is performing about 218% above the old one.
that's wonderful.
So I think the database lookups are going to actually succeed in a reasonable time at this point.
Yeah, that's it feels very responsive now. The server now we just replaced all the disks on the what was the primary Whisper Daemon server, uh, a Dell R620. Is that it? It's anyway. It has uh, I had
Yeah,
installed.
the machine failed last year. Was it May? May of last year. It
Yes,
hard
May.
failed. And in a scramble, we got the only discs we could really reasonably get our hands on in Rob's immediate vicinity, which were a set of 6 Toshiba SATA drives that were very bottom of the barrel. And they showed they were very, very slow. We got the machine running, and large SQL queries could take 30, 60, 90 seconds to populate basic tables. So after some griping, complaining from the key members involved, we decided to pull it down and install some enterprise grade drives back into it and get its performance back to where it should be.
But it's also a place where we can add additional tables and upload and record the information. I mean, I don't want to supplant the PSWS server, but the recordings there are very are the 24-hour 10 hertz bandwidth variety, and we're now looking at phenomena that really are require a much more complex and a lot more data. So I think this server is could be a place to host this additional time arrival type data. So I don't know what else is. Uh, I'm not sure. I think I'm kind of burned out today. So, Brett, I'm not sure I'm going to finish this bringing up. I'll try to bring up ClickHouse and the basic services.
Well, maybe
Uh,
I didn't understand. So, did you not copy the files? Is this something else that I don't know about? Because I gave you a blank partition.
Um, oh, which part? Okay, I'm sorry. We
The,
can
the,
take this
the
aside, but
Yeah, the SRVWD data partition. I handed you a blank 6 terabyte partition,
yeah,
and I was curious what you meant by you're just going to start the database because it's going to fail. There's nothing there. So
yeah. Well, it'll get filled out with this
if you don't need me
later.
anymore, I'm going to back out of everything.
Yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. But that looks fine. Is it? Let's see, what's in WD6 right now? Let's see the whisper. Yeah, it's empty. Okay, perfect. I'll load it up, but it probably won't do it until tomorrow. I can start the
Well,
servers and
then I'm going to back out of everything because I'm
okay.
after
Yeah.
8 hours of dealing with it today. I'm fed up.
Okay. Yeah, I think me too. I'm kind of burned out. Uh, I wanted to Phil. Uh, we the KPH systems are still in somewhat flux. I'm working to um, uh, I'm working to try to configure them and organize them. I don't think there's any disruption to your stuff on KPH2.
Not that I've seen. I mean, you thought that the FT8 decoders weren't working, but they were.
Yes, that's just the limitation of my little bash function. I still don't quite understand how to find all of the running uh, when there's the instance version of a service. Um, I miss it, and I will go and look into it at some point. But right now,
Okay.
it
I
seems
mean, I'm logged in there now, and it's decoding FT8 just fine.
okay. Well, I won't be touching your services. I hope. I
Okay.
mean. I do need, I'm going to bring up Whisper Demon and make it the device probably that does the recordings because there's I think a 15 terabyte drive attached to it where we record the grape data from KPH. It goes onto that drive and that keeps, I don't know, 3 or 4 months of full spectrum recordings on that external hard drive. So, that's a resource that hopefully in the future will make easy for people to access so that if you want to go back and look at the 400 hertz tones and 500 turn offset tones, you can go into those recording files and find them. I don't know that Michael is still with us, but that's something he has been investigating. Uh, how to differentiate VH from V. And KPH, you need to do it because you're kind of equidistance from both transmitters. So there's a good place to uh, study uh, how to differentiate the two signals when they're both being arriving. Both transmitters or signals are arriving at KPH. Hmm.
I'm gonna bail out unless somebody has something for me. Dave Hostetler, I do see your email and some good questions. I'll gonna check my schematics and I'll get back to you on those. I appreciate it. Again, anyone need me for anything? Otherwise, I'll say goodnight.
I think we're okay.
Okay,
Well,
good. I'll carry
thank you.
on.
Thank you for coming and on
Okay.
Saturday. It was good to
Oh,
see you
hey,
in
it was
person.
really, yeah, nice to see you in person again. We don't do it often enough. Um,
Yeah.
as you could tell, I had a lot of fun. I was amazed at how many tourists showed up and actually asked interesting questions about what we were doing and, and about the old radio stuff too. So that's pretty impressive.
They get, yeah, I mean, they get hundreds of people through there every Saturday.
So,
And
I mean, great recruiting possibilities for HamSci and for ham radio in general
so
and
we
just
need to get somebody.
technology. It was
We
really
need
good.
we need someone to go out there every Saturday. They would love to have us. You're welcome to go. It must be at least an hour and a half drive for you, right?
It takes almost exactly an hour and a half from here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
So,
2 hours, 2.25 for me, depending upon the traffic in San Francisco. So,
but if anyone here, it's a beautiful location. All sorts of stuff you can do out at Point
yeah, I
Reyes,
don't,
the peninsula and the Tamales Bay and the lighthouse and all sorts of things. So it's definitely worth the drive.
yeah.
Okay, good
Okay.
night all.
Good night, Paul.
So do you have
Uh,
like a QR code or some little thing on equipment if a tourist walks by and wonders what that is that they can find out?
good idea. I think you need to come out here and help me uh, populate and document what's going out there. It's a tough site to work at because except under extraordinary circumstances, I can really only go and work there on Saturday afternoons.
Well, in many ways it's might as well be a mountaintop repeater site, and what that means is that you get everything together that you need to, and then just simply install it on site as a one whole unit.
Yeah.
That
Well,
that would also give you the option of keeping Dick Dillman happy because then it would be by default documented at the same time.
it would be great to do that. And Richard is actually quite was the last time I met with him quite supportive
Well,
of what we're
I
doing. So
heard him on the Ham Radio podcast a few months ago.
yeah,
And you can tell by the way he talks that is his baby. I mean,
yeah,
he's protective of it, and rightly so.
yeah. Well, it's a great site. It could there's if you look at the spectrum, you can see that there's room for improvement. There is some QRM coming in, and I don't. But I've never had time to investigate it. It's good enough that it's the QRM that I notice is below 4 MHz is coming in. It's it's daytime delay are limited. It's so as soon as the band opens up, nighttime, the propagated noise goes way above the QRM. So it's you know, but there's up at higher frequencies. There's something modulated signal coming in above 40 MHz that I is ugly. Uh, um, I, so anyway, just there's days of work, configuration work out there. So one of the things I did manage to fix is I lost access to the power controllers, and I don't know if others have encountered this, but it seems like in the last few years something has changed in the Linux and other operating systems that sometimes make them difficult. They have difficulty connecting to older Wi-Fi access points. And that seemed to have happened out at KPH, where I use a little DDRT, one of those yellow things, the GL.net things. And it just stopped the power controllers, the Wi-Fi power strips stopped talking to it. So I brought it back and upgraded software from on the router from 2020 to 2025, the latest 2025 firmware. And it's now, everything talks to it easily. So there seems to have been some changes in Wi-Fi protocols over the last few years that make newer devices have a hard time talking to older access points. So put in the new firmware, put it in there, and the access points came right up. So the Wi-Fi controller came up. So I can now power cycle all, including the B links. I can power cycle them from here. So
When somebody mentions an IoT device running ancient firmware, I suddenly think what comes to mind is not an IoT device, but some other device run by somebody else taking advantage of the fact that it's running ancient firmware.
yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. It's I did I took I have 6 of those devices, and I just trying updating all of them to the newest firmware.